What the hell were you doing last week? First off, what were you doing last week?
So last week...
That took you from the show. What were you doing?
Last week, I went to San Diego.
Actually. For what? Was someone dead?
No one was dead. It was just a vacation, man.
A pleasure trip. A pleasure trip. A fucking pleasure trip.
Yeah, I went with the fam to San Diego. Stuck my toes in the sand. Honestly, it's a lot because my sister has 2 children, 4 and 7. So, little biddies, as you like to say. And it's a lot because when you're a mom of little biddies, you gotta like keep them busy and you gotta keep doing things. So we had like an itinerary, and I was like, man, I just want to chill on the beach. And she's like, no. There's a cave that we're going to. We must go to the cave. And I'm like, what if we just sat here on the beach though? It's like, no. We're going to the cave.
Dude,
I don't want to go to the cave.
Your sister's great. I've met her once or twice, 4 or 6 times. I don't know. She's great. And I'm sure her kids are amazing. I've never met them. Bruh, get a hold of yourself. They're not your kids. They're your nieces and your nephews. You don't have to go with them. Why couldn't you just make your own itinerary and sit your little happy little pale ass on the beach? And you could have did a couple of things with them. I'm sure they probably wanted Uncle Jakey Poo to be around a couple of times. But dude, you should have put your foot down a couple of times and say, no, I'm not going to the cave.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Cory, let me explain. I'm scared of my sister.
There you go. Hey, at least you own it. You own it, you little bitch. You own it.
What she says goes, and also, I didn't drive there. I rode with them, so I didn't have like my own vehicle. I was kind of reliant on them to get around. And
were you paying for the vehicle? Did you put gas in the vehicle?
I didn't.
Did you pay for the hotel at all?
I pitched in, yeah.
Equal parts or slightly unequal, or you were just, chipping in what you had?
I mean, it's equal to the fact that there's 4 of them and 1 of me. So yeah, equal as far as that.
So
they paid more, but there's more of them.
Yeah, but it's equal parts, but there's more of them, so that's fine. So
yeah,
I would say that you should have still had some time to yourself to be able to do you.
And in fairness, like we did go to the beach and like I was able to chill on the beach for a bit. I just, I would have liked to just chill at the, because we got like a beach house. We got an Airbnb that was like walking distance from the beach. And like, I would have liked to hang out at that beach house and just like chilled and like, read my comic books.
You were within walking distance of the beach and you still got punked by your sister to go to a cave when you could have just said, oh, my stomach hurts. I'm going to sit out the cave so I can sit here and have a lot of poopies. And then when they went off to the cave, you could have just sauntered across the street to the beach.
See, and this is what's annoying about it, Cory, is I was under the impression, we'd just be hanging out at the beach that we were by. But they're like, no. The beach we were by was like Mission Beach or something. And then like, they're like, oh, we're going to La Jolla, which is like
I know exactly where you were. I know exactly where you were in those little bungalows on Mission Beach. I know exactly where you were.
Yeah. And, and they're like, we're going to go to La Jolla, which is like a 30-minute drive away. So like, if I go with them, like I'm just stuck with them. There's nowhere for me to go. I can't get back to the beach house. See, this is the thing, we had a whole thing. Like,
okay, number one, you lost. Now look, I'm busting your balls, but you own it. You own the fact that you're afraid of your sister, and that's fine. That is what it is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I hope she's not listening.
Oh yeah, she's not.
She's not.
She's not. Look, I understand that you're afraid of your sister, but that's a suck trip, bruh. I was hoping that, you texted me a couple of times and said what you were doing. And, you said that you got sunburned. And of course I was trying to get you to send me a shirtless pic and it didn't work.
I didn't get burned on my body because I wore a shirt.
And I tried to get a shirtless pic from you. And then instead you sent me a pic of a car. But nevertheless, I was hoping you were going to come back and you were going to say, man, I'm so hungover from getting drunk on the beach.
I did get I did get drunk a lot.
And then you come back and you tell us a story on how you were basically a travel nanny?
Yeah,
Bruh,
that's essentially it.
Why did you even go?
I was telling, because I went with my other sister, who is another single person like me, and my father, who is another single person like me, and then the family unit, which is my other sister, her husband, and the 2 kids. So it's like, the way we described it was they're the 6 a.m. crew and we're the 9 a.m. crew. And the 9 a.m. crew was kind of like, oh, God, but we just felt like we had to go along with it, you know? It's just the way it is.
Let me ask you this.
And on the way back, I was like, man, I don't think I can go on another one of these vacations with them. It's too much.
Before you went on
I love them to death.
Before you went on the trip, were you aware that there was an itinerary? Were you aware that there were plans? Because there's lots of things to do in San Diego. San Diego is my second home. I haven't been there since the panty started. It's the first place that I want to go when like everything is really, really done and over with. It's the first place I want to go. I know everything from La Jolla all the way down to the Coronado Bridge and beyond, even down to Calexico. I know it all on San Diego. I want
Point Loma. You ever been there?
I've been to Point Loma. I've been to Black's Beach. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I've been to Black's Beach, and trust me, it was nice being on a beach that's named after me and not being the biggest black on the beach. If you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But nevertheless, dude, I know everything about it. Did you know that there was an itinerary before you put heel to toe and went and got in a vehicle and drove 5.5 hours from Phoenix?
I knew that like we'd maybe do some things like I said, I was under the impression most of the trip would be spent in the beach house and at that beach. But I was aware that there would be some things. Like I knew we'd probably end up going to La Jolla at some point. And you know, we were there for 3 or 4 days. And so, like, I knew there would be some stuff. I didn't realize there'd be that much stuff where it's like, hey, we're driving back from La Jolla. What if we stop at this, like, weird mountain where people, like, fly, they use, like, parachutes to fly off a cliff? And I'm like, I don't want to do that. But we did it anyway. We did go on a whale watching boat, which was very fun. We didn't see any whales, but we saw a bunch of dolphins, which was nice.
You do this show with me. You see a whale every week. The thing that I'm trying to say to you, Jake, is that
I told him.
Dude, oh man, look, I know your pain, or I think I recognize your pain, because I experienced something very similar to that when I took the kids to Disneyland, and it was the best idea.
Disneyland's different.
No. This was the best idea I should have never had, because we went in a group. It was back when, you know, money wasn't as fluent as it is now, or allegedly, you know what I mean? And we decided to go with this group because it was going to drop all the costs down. I mean, it came down to almost like less than $75 per person. And it was a 3-day pass to the park plus the hotel. And it was like $75. That's how big of a group it was. It was a caravan that was going. It sucked because there was this itinerary. There was this, you got to be here. There was this, everybody get up and be at the bus stop for this. Everybody arrive at the park at the same time. Everybody meet back up at the gate at the end of this time, or everybody meet up here. Or everybody
meet up for the parade.
And everybody meet up. Yeah. It was a disaster. I wanted to go. Now you described going to the beach house and things happening around the beach. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Just to be somebody telling me in my ears, hey, we're going to go to San Diego, one of the beautifulest cities on the planet, and we're just going to hang out in a beach house, and you're going to be around your family, and you guys are a good family. You know what I'm saying? That sounds amazing. But then when you get there, your sister pulls the rug from under you, and she throws this itinerary at your face.
Yeah, that's how it felt. I felt
you were bamboozled and hoodwinked.
I felt gaslit, you know?
How many strollers did you push?
Luckily, you know, they're at the age now where they don't really need strollers. So, and, you know, luckily the 4-year-old was like, hey, dad, carry me. So dad was carrying her. So that was good. But I was hanging out with the 7-year-old a lot, which I didn't mind too much because, he's my homie, and it's all good.
I bet your sister said she had the best time of her life, didn't she? She probably had a really good time. You know why? Because she had all you other rubes around to take care of the little bitties while she got a chance to enjoy San Diego. You're wiping boogers out of your hair and she's breaking open beers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to go too far.
I'm going too far because it's entertainment.
No.
But no, I know what you feel like. You wanted to go, but you got a little bit of downtime.
I'm definitely the kind of person that like I'll make like the smallest plans where it's like we'll get the hotel, like this is the hotel we're staying at, and like we'll go to this beach or whatever. But once that's there, like I just want to go with the flow, like, hey, look, there's a fucking cool ass bar over there. What if we went there?
San Diego is perfect for that. I never have an itinerary when I go to San Diego. I go to Ocean Beach Hotel. I stay at Ocean Beach Hotel. It used to be a little podunk rinky-dinky hotel that you could get like you can get a night for like, change back on $100 bill. That was back in the day. Now it's like $275 a night because the Marriott took it over. But I go to the Ocean Beach Hotel, park the car. What are we going to do? I don't know. There's a beach 5 feet from us. We can walk to the beach. Oh, I'm hungry. Okay, let's go walk up the pier and just find something to. And then if we're tired of sitting on the beach, which never happens, then you just walk up the boardwalk, or you walk over and you walk far enough to get to Mission Beach, or you walk the other direction and you're looking at Sunset Cliffs. There's never an itinerary when you go to San Diego. Or you can play one thing. Okay, well, we'll go see SeaWorld. And not bad, we'll go see the boats in the harbor, in downtown, or we'll go ride a horse-drawn carriage in downtown. But then other than that, man,
go to the Dr. Seuss Museum.
Go to dude, or I did do the San Diego Zoo. That was pretty amazing. But dude,
I love the San Diego Zoo. Yeah,
the majority of my trips to San Diego were literally me, an umbrella, a beach chair, and a cooler with a Subway sandwich in it and Starbucks iced coffee in the jar. And then I was on the beach, and you wouldn't from sun up to sundown. Because number one, I'm a people watcher. I love sitting there watching people.
Bring a cooler with some Coronas in it.
And
baby.
And then if you got to go poopy potty, well, not poopy, but if you got to go pee potty, just go for a little dip. Put a little put a little
you
protein
poop in there too.
Well, I wouldn't suggest it, unless you're really good at it. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, as long as it's like not too watery.
San Diego is the city to go to and vacation with nothing to do. Just be there.
Like I'm telling you, like we were walking back to our beach house or whatever, and like. As we were walking there, we walked by this bar, and there was just like a dude playing Piano Man by Billy Joel. And I was like, guys, let's fucking go in there. Obviously the kids couldn't go there, but I was like, hey, the other single people that were with me, my dad and my sister, I'm like, let's fucking go in there. But they were just like, I'm just too fucking tired. Because we had been walking around all day and like doing all this shit.
Those are the moments, like, dude. I stood on the corner.
But I was like, I was with them, though. I was like, yeah, I'm fucking tired because we just spent all day walking around doing stupid shit. We walked like 14 miles every day.
Okay, then you go sit and have a drink and watch the Piano Man.
This is what I'm saying. I
stood on the corner in Ocean Beach, California. I stood, yes, I did. I had to pay for that hotel room somehow. I stood on the corner for an hour and a half. Doing fuck all nothing but watching some lady ride around on a bike because she had big boobs. And every bump in the sidewalk she hit, her boobs jiggled. And that's all I did. I stood there and I drank a beer.
And then you realized that was just a mirror.
And then I realized, I was like, wait a minute. What's this sharp pain in my back? Oh shit, I'm standing on my own boob.
I have to be, in fairness, I have to be really careful when I go to the beach though.
Because your massive dong distracts people from enjoying their time at the beach?
No, it's a dangerous thing for me to go to a beach, honestly. Like, I'm just so pale.
Oh, because you're Casper.
Yeah, I burn really. I coated myself in sunscreen and still got burnt. It was, it's rough out here.
That happened to me one time when I went to a car dealership. I coated myself in sunscreen and I still got burned.
I burn so easy, dude. I need I don't know.
You need to wrap yourself in tinfoil next time. tinfoil. Just be
Alex
out.
Jones it.
Just be, just be out there. Or better yet, Jake, go to the beach with me. I cast an amazing shadow.
That's true. I need one of those beach chairs with the overhang on it.
I have a beach umbrella that's so big that it's like it has its own seat in the car when I travel to San Diego.
Just bring a tent.
Did you? I am. That's a T-shirt for me. Did you at least stop in Dayton, Arizona on your way out there? Did you stop in Dayton?
No. I've been there so many times though. I have been there a lot.
Dude, I drive to Dayton just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Prior to the
I've thought about doing that. So what I'm coming to the conclusion right now, Corey, is we need to go on vacation together.
No, that'll never happen. That's all you need to be is drunk in a hotel room with me. You'll be like, I need a 2-bed hotel. And as soon as you hang up the phone, I'll be calling them back saying, cancel that 2-bed. I just need one.
I think the problem with us is we're both going to be like, how can we turn this into content?
Dude, everything in my life is content.
I know, we're so content minded.
Everything would be content. I would be looking. Well, the thing is that we're so good at what we do. We don't need to make content happen. We just need to be aware and capture it. Mm. You know what I'm saying? That's what I tell everybody, all you junior podcasters out there. You don't make content happen. You just learn to capture the moments in your life that are content. You got to just have your eyes peeled. If I would have never seen that big boob biker bitch riding around on that beach cruiser in downtown San Diego, I would have never got 3 shows out of that. That's what we nicknamed her. We nicknamed her Big Boob Biker Bitch. I think I was with Philippius during that trip.
Oh,
he's a great travel partner too, because he don't want to do shit, and that's exactly what I want to do on a vacation. Shit.
Yeah, Sam. Should we start the show now that we're 20 minutes in?
I gave you 30. I gave you 30 hits to jump it in there, but you didn't do it, so I'll do it again.
I mean, you're the 5, 6, 7, 8.
I did. Yeah. I was getting to the 5, 6, 7, 8 when I did the boob on. See, you've been gone so long. You got so many damn Crayolas stuck up your ass with the damn sand. You forgot how we do the damn show. Call Austin. He'll tell you how it's done. 5, 6, 7, 8.
What is up, boyos? Welcome to the Jake and Cory Podcast. I am Jake. That is Cory. What is up, Cory?
Did you know that wild rabbits, are actually allergic to carrots? So Bugs Bunny has been lying to us this whole time.
Well, he's not a wild rabbit.
He's
domesticated.
He's not domesticated. Have you ever seen him get fed by somebody else? No. Have you ever seen
basketball, bruh?
Have you ever seen him in a cage? No. He's a wild rabbit that just happens to be domestic adjacent. But he eats carrots, and wild rabbits don't eat carrots. It's actually
he also
poisonous.
Plays basketball.
But he's still lying to us about the carrots, Jake. He's lying to us about the carrots. He's misleading kids for years and years.
This is conspiracy.
Kids running around with bushels of carrots, chasing down rabbits, giving it to them, and the rabbits don't know the rabbits is eating them. And then when the kids hoppity-scoppity away and thinking they did good for Mother Nature, them rabbits is dropping dead on the ground.
This is like when I found out you're not supposed to feed ducks bread.
You ain't supposed to feed.
I was like, what?
What? Wait, hold on. Ducks don't eat bread?
You're not supposed to feed them bread. It's really bad for their diet. I guess what you're supposed to bring is like corn.
Oh, I mean,
better for them.
I didn't kill a whole lot of ducks, Jake. I used to have.
It doesn't kill them. It's just like it's really bad for their health, I guess.
Oh yeah, well, so is the air they're breathing, but nevertheless, and whatever.
So is the Taco Bell I had for lunch. So
yeah, and don't throw rice at weddings, because then the pigeons come and they eat the rice, and then they go drink some water at a nearby watering hole, and then their stomachs explode. Speaking of that, I need to sprinkle some rice on my roof because I got pigeons that are just roosting on my roof all freaking day, and it's so annoying.
That's a good idea.
No, my little brother, DJ Little D, said that he was going to come over, and you can buy these hawks, these little fake hawks, that you put up there. But this is something very interesting, Jake. I was researching those, and I was going to order some Hawks. And then while I was scrolling through, the Zon, I noticed that there were some little spinny silver things. And you'll probably know what these are because I see them all the time on like McDonald's. And they're I've always wondered what the hell those things were. I thought it was just something to catch your eye because they do shine. And when the sun hits them the right way, they catch your eye, something that's sparkling. And I've always, I'm just staring at them. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're bird repellents. I did not freaking know that. Now, when I was on the Zon, those little spinny thingies that you see on top of the McDonald's, those suckers are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Expensive little boogers.
I've actually looked into these things because over at my dad's place, he's got a huge pigeon problem over there as well. Yeah, I've looked into them. They're hella expensive, man.
They're like $75 a piece.
I get not to break off into a tangent here.
Too late.
But I see the sign behind you, and I figured now is the time to let Cory's freak flag fly. I see the Suns poster behind you.
That's not a Suns poster, you boob.
It says the Valley.
It's a Rally the Valley towel.
Oh well, okay. It's a towel, not a sign.
I thought you were gonna make reference to the Black Lives Matter sign that's behind me, but you can barely see that.
I can't really see it.
It's far in the distance and it's blurred a little bit.
Well, that's awesome too. But like,
well,
let's talk about the Suns. Get in there.
I've blown my load on the Suns already on Fat Guy Radio Show, and Austin, who guest hosted last week, says that there's a lot of carryover between the Jake and Cory show and Fat Guy Radio, and I think that that's bullshit. And I didn't say that to him to his face, but as soon as we ended the show, I totally put it all over the blogs that it's bullshit.
I noticed that there's some holes in your wall.
There is some holes in my wall. Nevertheless, he said there's crossover. So if you want to hear my expression on what's going on with the Phoenix Suns, there's another show that I did almost 15 minutes on it.
Okay, well, I've got some things to say about the Phoenix Suns.
It's Austin's fault. So, because it's Austin's fault, Austin hasn't heard what you have to say, Jake. So you tell me what you think of the Phoenix Suns. And number one, I love it because it's one of the things that connects us.
Yeah. So funny enough, you're a huge basketball fan. I've known this about you for 27 years now that I've known you.
That's very true.
Yeah. I've known you were a huge basketball fan. I've never really been that huge into basketball. But, as soon as the Suns started playing the Lakers, in the what are they called? The playoffs?
Yes. The first round of the Western Conference playoffs.
So like when they started playing the Lakers, I kind of started getting into it. And I've never really gotten into basketball, and it's really a kind of a fun experience to like be part of a team that's winning. My hometown is like actually going places, and I've like gotten invested. I'm like, oh yeah, look at Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Like, look at these dudes, and like even the opposing team. I'm like, fuck that Beverly motherfucker. Like, fuck that guy. I didn't know who these people were like 2 weeks ago, but now I'm like, fuck Beverly, man. He's just like shoving Chris Paul around and shit.
I can relate to that euphoria that you're feeling about the Suns because it's the same thing that I experienced when I started Stardew Valley playing video games. I'm like, I don't know anything about video games, but Jake does all the time. I've known this about him for the 46 years that I've known him. And I'm like, dude, this is freaking fun. This is really great. And then I beat the game and I got nothing else to do. And just like with the Suns, they're going to eventually win the championship and you'll have nothing else to cheer for until next season. So. And we hope that they effing do it again. But I'm excited because you're excited for the Suns. Now, if I loved you a little bit more, I would get you Suns tickets, but I don't.
They're like $1,000.
Oh, they're not, dude. That's to sit in the nosebleed section behind the section of the nosebleed section. That's in the nosebleed of the nosebleed section. You're pretty much sitting on the roof with the air conditioning units for $1,000 for these finals tickets.
It's really hard to be a sports fan in Phoenix because we experience a thing that I've heard of since I was like a small child, is like the Phoenix curse, right? Where like all of our teams just always suck. There will be like 1 year, like there was that 1 year where the Cardinals almost won the Super Bowl and then didn't.
The last championship we had was the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I think that was in like 2010 or something like that. You know what I mean? But there is always that Phoenix effing curse. I think we already.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid. You know, we have some like legendary players that have come from Phoenix. Like, you know, in every sport. Like, you know, in basketball, we had Charles Barkley, we had Steve Nash. You know, like we had some legendary players, but like we never win anything. Yeah, and
we come close, but we never get there.
Yeah, in baseball, you know, we had Gonzalez and Randy, whatever his name is,
Randy
Newman.
Randy Newman. Jesus. We had Randy Jackson on Randy Newman.
And in football we had Kurt Russell. I'm not a huge sports fan.
Yeah, but Katie Couric was on the Arizona Rattlers team at one point. Dude, we always get to that. We always get to the threshold, and then we BRL. We blow our load. This one with the Phoenix Suns, I mean, if all else fails and we don't walk away with the championship, what they can't take away from us is our Western Conference championship belt. And that's enough for me. We get another banner, hanging in our arena. And that's enough for me. I remember, now here's a crossover point. Austin, fast forward 15 seconds. I remember in 1993, I remember going downtown with my birth father for that parade. I remember that. I was there. I saw the boys speak from the balcony of, at the time, the America West Arena. I was there. You know what I mean? So this is a long standing coming, and I feel like we've already won. We've come so far to this point. We've already won. This is a new banner. It was good enough for me. Now, if they come back and they actually bring home the Lombardi Trophy, and become the NBA World Champions, I mean, some bitch that would just, I don't even know how I would react. I really don't know how I would react if that actually happened with our Phoenix Suns. But we will see. We will absolutely see.
Yeah, and the Suns, I guess this is, I don't know much. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been doing some research. But this is the first time. This is the first time we've made it to the finals since Barkley, right? Like
since
in the 90s,
1993,
right?
yes.
Yeah, I wasn't even born yet.
I was there. I remember it, and you weren't born yet. Like I said last week, I gotta stop doing these shows with these fucking young kids. People are gonna start talking in the streets. Oh, Cory just does all these radio shows with these young, smooth boys.
Yeah, well, give it a couple years, and I won't be going anymore.
I'm going to be aging at the same damn time, motherfucker, so I'm still going to be that weird old guy trying to get shirtless beach pictures.
But, a 60-year-old doing a show with the 27-year-old is not that weird, but, a 70-year-old doing a show with the 35-year-old, it's not that weird. So, there you go. But also, on top of, the Phoenix sports, even the Cardinals, which is our football team, we've been looking up, and and the one team that has always been consistently good in Phoenix is the Phoenix Mercury, and this is the year that they kind of sucked, right?
They are sucking, and I was reaching for my phone because I have their theme song in my phone. I recorded it when they were in the arena, when I was in the arena, but I can't play it because you won't hear it. But Diana Taurasi got injured, I think about 1 or 2 games into the launch of the season, and she was down. I believe that they've probably, out of the 10 games they played so far this season, I think they've won maybe 3. So they are struggling. But I will say this, the Phoenix Mercury, the WNBA team, does have 3 WNBA World Championship trophies. So they are the world champion, Phoenix Mercury. And people forget that sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's pushed under the rug. Like, a lot of WNBA teams and I mean, there's only a handful of teams, there's not like as many teams in the NBA as there are with the WNBA. And it's a little sad because there are some amazing players on there. One of my favorite players is Britney Griner. I love Britney. I've met Britney at dinner. I've met Britney in the bowl in the tunnels at the arena. She is a beast on the court, but she is a gentle giant outside of that basketball. And she's amazing. There was one time where, actually this season, where I was carrying my camera and I was carrying a lot of cables and stuff with me down the tunnel. And with the arena being remodeled, our video storage room where we keep our equipment is right across the hall from the new Mercury locker rooms. So I'm walking, I got this big, heavy 40-pound camera. I got about 30 pounds of cable on my shoulder. I got a chair under the other arm. I got my headset. I mean, it's a little bit of a struggle, but I'm maintaining it. And I get down the hall, and coming up behind me is Britney Griner. And she grabs the cable off my shoulder, and she grabs a chair from under my arm and says, "Let me help you with that." And she literally walks me into the storage room, the video storage rooms, drop the equipment off, and then runs across the hall to the locker room. She didn't have to do that. That's just a class act. I was working on the floor shooting a Mercury game, and Diana Taurasi was going hard to the hole, and she went hard to the hole and fell right on me. And I prepped her up, and Jake can see what I'm doing with my hands on how I prepped her up, but I propped her up, you know what I'm saying? And pushed her back on the court and said, "You go get him." You know what I mean? She's the GOAT. She's the female Steve Nash, or in some circles, the male Steve Nash. Oops.
Ooh, got him.
But I love the WNBA, man. I love everything basketball. I really do. Everything from NCAA to the WNBA and NBA. And I've even gone when my kids were younger and they were playing in basketball clubs. Man, that was a thrill to go out and just watch them play in like little podunk, little basketball courts, that are run by the city or run by a school or PV school or whatever. You know what I mean? I just love basketball. Maybe I love it so much because I never was able to play. I never will be able to play. Maybe, I'll be, by the time I lose the weight in order to play basketball, I'll be decomposing.
My favorite sport has always been football. And let me tell you why. Okay? Because since birth, I came out of the womb playing Game Boy, right? Like, that's just who I am.
Yeah, you had an Atari controller in your hand.
I came out with a Sega Game Gear, just going crazy. And I love video games, right? And one of my favorite genres of video games, it always comes back to video games with me, Corey. I'm sorry.
Of course it does.
One of my favorite types of video games are RPGs, which are role-playing games. And basically, a role-playing game is all about statistics. It's all about, putting your stats into certain elements, like your strength or your intelligence, and when you battle, your intelligence goes into a certain battle point and all this stuff. And to me, football has always been like an RPG where it's like all these different players have different statistics, right? And like different strength levels and different, like your running back has fast agility and his, and his stats, and then your guy up your linemen are high in strength, and then like, I don't know. It's always felt like a role-playing game to me. Even the Madden games are designed like an RPG, where you like put your stats into different characters, and like you have to have these different like play maps, and like I don't know. I've always found it cool. The one thing I don't like about football that I like about basketball is football totally just ruins a person's life for the rest of their life. Where basketball, you could play basketball and continue to have a successful life after your career is over.
They say that playing football, professional football in the NFL, they say it's like getting in like 8 car accidents, in 3 hours. You know what I mean? So that's a wear and tear on your body like never before.
There's a reason that like in basketball and baseball and hockey, they do 7-game series, and that's something they do not do in football, because if they did 7-game series in basketball or in football, they'd all be dead.
Well, also football teams only play once every 2 weeks, right? Isn't it a game once every 2 weeks or something to that?
No, it's every week, and then sometimes they get a bye week.
Okay, so I'm considering I don't know crap about football, and then I normally don't know anything about video games when you start speaking about it. But when you said RPG, I was really confused, because the first thing when you said role play game, I'm thinking Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto doesn't have statistics or anything, so there must be different levels of RPG.
Grand Theft Auto is more of like an open world action game.
That's not RPG. That's not role play.
It's got some RPG elements, but a role playing game would be a game like Skyrim or Fallout.
And I'm lost. But okay,
Persona.
I follow you.
Like that.
I follow you. I don't at all. But that's fine. You're absolutely right. It's a great time to be a Phoenician.
There is Grand Theft Auto role play, but that's different. That's like a different thing.
That's true. But it's a great time to be a Phoenician right now, a true diehard Phoenician for what's happening with the Phoenix Suns. And you're right, I do have the rally towel behind me. I may or may not have $200 worth of Western Conference Finals gear in the mail. I don't know. But
taking bets?
Nevertheless, no, not taking bets. The Western Conference Finals gear is everywhere.
No. I mean, are you going to take bets on the finals?
No, I can't.
Why?
I'm a contractor. I can't participate in stuff like that.
No one has to know.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm not doing that.
So what you're telling me, and this is a conspiracy I've had for years, Corey, is basketball is rigged. And since you work for the NBA, almost at NFL, the NBA, you know how the cookie is cooked. You know how it's made.
How the cookie is cooked?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
How the stir fry is stirred.
How the eggs are scrambled.
You know how the French toast is Frenched.
The French toast is Frenched.
My theory on basketball has always been like, this is the easiest sport to fake, because we already see that with the Harlem Globetrotters. They've been faking this shit for decades, Like,
well, you have to remember.
And then, like, with the shit with Beverly, it feels so theatric, right? It feels like,
well, Beverly,
they're building the drama, Like,
you have to realize that Patrick Beverly is a freaking Project Park gnat. You know what I mean? He's that gnat that you just can't swat.
But it feels like a television show when he's like, I'm just gonna attack Chris Paul out of nowhere. Like, that feels it feels planned almost.
No.
And like I was telling Nick, if I was a basketball player, which I'm not, but if I was, all I would practice are across the court shots. I would just work on that constantly, and I would just shoot across the court every time, and I would make it every single time.
So that's all you're just basically describing Stephen Curry, 'cause that's what he does. He practices half court shots. That's what he does. And the funny thing is that a lot of people don't see it, but DeAndre Ayton practices half court shots all the time.
Yeah, just fucking do that, and then you'd win every game, because you just shoot from the half court every single time and you make it.
Now, as a contractor for the NBA, I do not believe that the NBA is rigged. However, I do believe as a fan that there can be some rigging done to some of these games. And the rigging that I believe that can be done to some of these games are
the
refs.
Yeah, that's in every sport, though, right? They say that with every sport. I just find it convenient. I find it convenient that, like, all of these 7 games almost always go all 7 games. Granted, the Phoenix one only went, 6? So
yeah, I went 6 because they botched 5.
Yeah. But like, normally these games go 7 games, and I feel like they do that on purpose because that's ad space that they can use on TNT or ESPN or whatever they're playing on. It's great. It has to be.
They I don't necessarily think that it's rigged, but I'm not saying that because I'm
putting chemicals in the water. They're gonna turn freaking frogs gay.
I'm not saying that it's rigged, but I think that the refs sometimes get in the way and teams have to fight their way around it. And some people will say that, maybe that's the case sometimes to make things stretched out a little longer. But
dude, I gotta tell you, one of the funniest stories I've ever heard in my life, right? So the Harlem Globetrotters, right? They play, what do they play? The Washington Generals, right?
All the time. And the Washington Generals, that's got to be the worst put up on team.
They gotta put that team down already. But
it's misery.
You go to the game, and this was like, I think back in the 90s. So when the Harlem Globetrotters were fucking hot, right? Like this is the peak of the Harlem Globetrotters. Like they're the hottest shit in the world, and
one of the best teams.
Yeah, they're playing the game close because they wanted to build the drama, right?
Yeah.
So the Washington Generals, were ahead, and the Harlem Globetrotters were like fucking around, and they're having a good time, and they weren't paying attention to the clock.
Uh-oh.
And the clock runs out, and they end up losing, and then the camera zooms in on this little kid, and the kid's like, no.
The one Washington Generals fan.
The kid is like crying because he's like, the Harlem Globetrotters lost.
The Harlem Globetrotters lost
because they lost track of time, and
they control the clock. The clock is written into the Jesus.
Well, they can only control it so much without it looking absolutely fake.
Oh, right? Dude, so, it totally is fake.
I mean, it is fake, and that's.
But to a kid, it would seem very real.
Yeah, it's real, and like the clock does run down, but they have it scripted on like what shots.
Yeah.
And they were playing it close, and they like shot the shot to like a buzzer shot, and they fucking lost. Hilarious! One of the funniest stories I've ever heard in my life.
Gotta love it. You gotta love it.
So, can I bring the show down?
What do you mean?
Like, can I bring it to a sadder area?
Well, it seems
I've
like
got a top.
Seems like you already have.
I've got a topic that I want to mention. I don't know, like this thing that happened in Florida.
The building collapsing.
Yeah, isn't that the craziest thing?
That's always been like a concern of mine for these high rises. I see these,
especially near a beach, and like
I just see these. I mean, even in our own downtown Phoenix, because the living in downtown Phoenix is just absolutely exploded over the last 5 years. It's like, there's shops at the bottom on the ground level, and then high rise, and then a couple of floors are offices, and then 8 or 9, 10 floors up are apartment living. And then what you see on the surface is not the whole building. There's also about 5 or 6 floors underground for parking, and I've always had that concern of these high rises and things like that. And then this thing happened in Florida, and I saw the story. It's pretty damn sad, but it also seems like there were some warning signs that went ignored. And here we go again with, someone cutting some fucking corners is what it's playing out to be.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's been said a lot on the news cycle. Like, it's just something you don't see a lot in America. And I'm concerned that, maybe we'll start seeing it more. Maybe like, I hope not. Like, I hope that like we learn from this. it's just the craziest thing. I've heard some stories of like people that somehow like heard it starting to crack or whatever, and they like ran across the building and somehow got out of it. Like, it's just insane. And like, I don't know what the death toll is up to now, but I know that there's still like over 100 people unaccounted for, and like that is just, it's insane.
What's even more insane is that the building was kind of built in like a U shape. There was one part that collapsed and another part that stayed intact, and there's still motherfuckers that are like staying in place in the part that's just still standing.
Yeah, people are just living in there.
What? Dude, half the fucking building just crashed, and just because yours isn't going down, you feel safe? Seriously?
Yeah, you got to get out of there. You got to get out of there. And what I would suggest to anyone who lives there, move out of there, but don't just move out of there. Move out of Florida, man. Mm-hmm. It just seems like a place you don't want to be.
Florida's a shithole.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, I heard of the story, and it tripped me out even more when I heard that people were, still in there. And it's just like, people are losing their lives over this. And it's just another news cycle that will eventually, go away, and we'll completely forget about it. And somebody else will cut another corner, and and another building will, these buildings are going to start collapsing. You hear Uncle Joe talk about infrastructure all the time. If we can't even keep our roads up, what makes you think that these high-rise buildings are going to, remain stable? And the funny thing is that building is in Florida, and that building collapsed, and it wasn't even hurricane season. You would think if anything was going to happen to that building.
Well, now there is a hurricane that's coming their way.
Yeah, now Elsa's coming in to let it snow, and now what's going to happen then? You know what I mean? Is the other half of the building going to go down, and the other Trump supporters going to go? The other people that live there are going to end up going down. You know what I mean? This building collapsed, and there wasn't even a hurricane at the time. So this building has survived hurricanes, for so many odd years, however long it was there, and then someone farted or sneezed in the right place in that building, and boom, there it come down.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like, yeah, the infrastructure thing is a good thing to bring up, because like another crazy thing that's like been occurring, and we've felt it super hard here in Phoenix, is it's been hot as fuck, and not just like as like, oh, it's Phoenix, it's hot. It's been hot countrywide. Like the whole country is just like beyond hot. And in the infrastructure bill that was proposed, that every Republican said no to. Every Republican said no to it because in the infrastructure bill, there was some money that was supposed to be set aside for climate and climate control and climate change. And every Republican's like, how is that infrastructure? And then you look at these extreme heats that we're dealing with and how it's destroying our infrastructure. And it's like, that's why. That is why you include climate change into your infrastructure bill, because climate affects our infrastructure. It's wild, man.
I think at this point, the Republican Party, majority of the Republican Party, would probably vote their own bill down at this point. Can they do anything else to implode this group? I picture in the next 10 years, there will be no Republican Party.
I don't think so.
Because
I think it's gonna.
They're imploding upon themselves, dude. The things that the Republican Party in Arizona is doing right now is just absolutely ludicrous. They are really, really dead set on the fact that damn election was stolen from them. And what they're doing is that they're putting every law that they possibly can put in place to make it difficult for people like me and people in less fortunate and underserved areas to be very difficult. The majority of people are in less served areas, and those are the ones that made the difference, that came out and voted in this last presidential election. And these Republicans are doing everything that they can to make sure that never happens again. And it's absolutely appalling and sad that they have to write laws to stop people from voting. So when you tell me that they're against a infrastructure bill because it has climate change, maybe they don't think the sun affects concrete, but it does, and the concrete is laid on top of pipes that are holding electricity and data cables, and that when the concrete suffers and cracks away, the pipes are exposed. When the pipes whittle away, the wires are exposed, and then the wires whittle away, and we start to, our infrastructure starts to collapse, and we just become vulnerable to whatever other country wants to come in, and they just fart like somebody did in that building in Florida. Our infrastructure just collapsed. Dude, at this point, I think the Republican Party would vote against their own selves if they were told that the bill that they proposed was written by a Democrat. It's just so stupid at this point. It doesn't make any sense to anything that they're doing, other than the fact that they're trying to make sure that the people that have the biggest voices are not heard.
It's almost like they do everything that is bad. They just feel like the supervillains. It's so weird. And
they're not doing anything to save themselves. Even a supervillain at some point lets one hostage go. You know what I mean? Real. At least a supervillain a supervillain has some level of a heart. It just seems like they're just doubling down on everything stupid, and it makes no sense. And I mean, I'm not going to blame it all on the Republican Party. I mean, even Kristen Sinema, who I happen to actually vote for, is screwing the pooch right now too. The bitch could have stuck up and stood up for a couple of things that Arizona was trying to do, and she failed in doing so. So I'm like, okay, you're proving yourself to be a politician. You got in there on lies, and now you're just going to do whatever the hell you want to do. All right, we'll see what happens in a couple of years when we send your ass back to Tucson.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Because I watched that Trump rally that he did a week or two ago, and man, these people are still just backing this guy. He goes up there, he says nonsense. I don't even know what he's talking about, and he looks horrible. He looks like he's about to keel over at any fucking minute. But in fairness, Biden looks like tapioca pudding as well, so it's not it's not much better. So cousin Cam's voice is starting to drive me insane. She just do not come.
She just I don't know. Her voice is starting to become nails on the chalkboard to me, and I know that's not fair, but it's true, and it's the way that I feel, and it's like, oh. Just, I'm just going to mute you and turn on closed caption. How about that? Just going to let the TV tell me what you're saying.
I don't know if you saw the meme. Kamala went up and was talking about immigrants. She's like, don't come right now. Do not come. Do not come. There's a great gif that's like, do not come. Do not come. And then it cuts to Trump and he goes, I'm going to come.
You know what? I think I have seen that. I think I've seen that somewhere on Instagram.
I'm gonna come. Trump was fun. He was fun.
No, he wasn't. It was scary. I'm sorry.
I took it too far.
Yeah. Line of demarcation. He was scary. He was scary. We went from scary to scarecrow, and I mean, there's just no winning.
Yeah, but also hilarious. I don't know.
Yeah, he gave a lot of comedians a lot of content, an absolute lot of content.
Speaking of comedians, did you hear about Bill Cosby?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Just released.
Yeah. Dude's got 15. He's got 15 minutes to live.
That's true.
Let him have his coffee and his pudding, and I mean, he can't even see now. They say he's blind.
That man should have died in prison. And then there's Britney Spears, who has not been freed. I don't know if you've heard about any of the Britney Spears stuff. We talked a little bit about it.
We talked a little bit about it, and you got mad at me.
But more stuff has come out, and she's actually spoken now in front of a judge, and she talked about how she has an IUD in that she didn't want put in there. They're refusing to let her take it out. She has no control over her body. It's just kind of the most insane thing, especially in the field of work that I do. I work in group homes, so I deal with guardianships all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just insane that she is stuck in a guardianship, a conservatorship, which is basically a guardianship, that she can't get out of. And then there are people whom I've worked for that I can't get guardians for that absolutely need them. And it just seems like the epitome of corrupt and just insane. Like, you know, if they're worried about her finances or whatever, there are plenty of celebrities who go on to squander it all, lose it all, go bankrupt, and they don't have conservators. So why is she any different? I don't know. Just seems insane to me.
I think that, it's a double-edged sword. The system is not built properly, like you said. You got one person who's over controlled, and you got other people that need to be controlled and can't be controlled. When it comes to Britney, I honestly, at the end of the day, really don't care, because this is the way that I look at it. Her father comes across and looks like scum. I can't take that away from him. He just looks like, it just seems like he's, just got way too much control. But on the flip side of that coin, if Britney is granted the freedom that everybody wants her to have, or the majority of people want her to have, how is everybody going to feel when she fucks that up real good?
How would she fuck it up though? Like, what is it that she would fuck up?
I'm not saying that what if she was to actually spiral out of control, which is what her father's trying to prevent her from doing. I'm not saying that. I think every
human has the right to do that, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, right. I'm not
disagreeing with you. She should definitely have that opportunity. But I think everybody beating the drum about the fact that she should be free. I'm not saying that her father should remain controlled over her, but no one should be surprised if she ends up getting what she wants and what the majority of people wants. They're going to eat her alive if she fucks up even one bit after. All the people that are chanting and beating their chest to free Britney right now are going to be watching her even closely, just waiting for her to fall. I've said it before. You know how this world loves to build you up and then celebrate your crash. And Britney has the potential of possibly crashing. And that's going to ruin her even worse than, probably than what she's dealing with now. That's all I'm saying. She should be free. She should have her control. She should have her life. She should have her money. She worked for it. She earned it. A lot of things her dad did was not cool, but then he also did some cool things too. I don't know.
What are the cool things that he did?
I really don't care. I honestly don't care. I'm not a free Britney. I'm not a free Britneyer. I'm not a keep Britney captive. I'm a nothing.
I'm an absolute free Britney because I absolutely believe in freedom. That is 100% my stance and will forever be my stance. And especially when you take away the right of a person's reproductive organs. That is just so uncool and not right at all. The fact that she can't even hang out with her boyfriend is wild. She can't have a child. That's wild.
Well, let's also remember that she selected Kevin Federline. How did that go?
Hey, man, he's gone on to, be a good dad, it seems. I don't know.
I don't know either. And I'm not shitting on the free Britneyers. I'm not shitting on the keeper and captive Britneyers. I'm not shitting at all, honestly. I really don't care what happens with her. She can be free. She can, or free in the Britney sense, free from her father's control, or she can remain under her father's control. I just don't really, I don't know.
What if it was you in that situation?
I would never be put in that type of situation.
But what if
it was me? If it was me,
I don't think she wanted to be put in that situation, but she was.
If you want me to personalize it and take my birth father and if he was taking control over my massive estate, the trust that I had in my father, I would be against it, but I would probably think that there would be a reason.
She can't even get her own lawyer. It just seems so un-American. It's crazy.
Well, you're talking to the wrong person about that. But nevertheless, I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have an opinion.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I
see it differently. Either way that it goes, I just hope that everybody ends up happy at the end of the day. You know?
I do have a dog in the fight. It's just because of the fact that like I deal with guardianships and stuff, and like just seeing.
Yeah, you're a little closer to the topic,
and it's just wild to me, and it just seems so un-American. I feel like everyone should be outraged about it. Honestly, like it's insane.
Well, you can't expect everybody to be outraged about it. Some people are just sitting waiting. Some people are sitting waiting for her to just for her to crash if this does go a certain way, whichever way. You know what I mean? But that's the case with a lot of people.
But it's like, if she crashes, she crashes. I don't know. Like, that's totally within her right to do. I don't know.
Yeah, and she burns it all. She burns it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you what's going to suck is there's going to be a whole lot of people that are going to be running around talking about, I told you so, I told you so.
I mean, like, sure. I mean, whatever. I don't care about those people. Those people can suck my dick. But, like, like, that's the thing you shouldn't care about.
I don't care about the whole situation, honestly. I really don't.
Yeah. I would implore that you go listen to her testimony.
No.
And like the crazy thing is that this is the first time she's been able to speak because her conservators and her lawyers have never allowed her to speak in court ever. Because she was never allowed to appoint her own lawyer, which is just absolutely so un-American. It's insane to me. Yeah, and
I just think that there are some.
But like the thing about it, Cory, is like if this can happen to Britney Spears, it can happen to anyone. And like this
is happening to a lot of people. What are you talking about?
Exactly, and that's why this one being publicized is a big deal because then we can start to recognize it on a bigger platform. Unlike, this has to do with our judicial system. This has to do with our government, specifically California's government. But like. I think it's definitely a big deal, personally.
And that's fine. I validate that it's personally a big deal to you. It's not to me because I honestly feel that there are bigger issues that we should be focused on.
Well,
other than a pop star having
come to this
over
conversation so many times where it's like, oh, just because I drink water that means I can't drink tea. I don't know. Like it's kind of a weird thing to say, like, oh, but there's bigger issues. Of course,
Yeah.
But like,
for me, that's how I feel.
It's like
I'm not devaluing your feelings.
I can't like the Marvel universe because I'm the Star Wars is a bigger deal.
Well, you can't be born in LA and cheer for the Phoenix Suns either.
I mean, you can. Can.
Or you could be born in Phoenix and cheer for LA. I don't understand that dichotomy either. But.
Okay, hold on, real quickly.
Yes.
I know we got to wrap this up, okay? But real quickly, why the fuck does LA have two teams? What the fuck's up with this? Why?
You should be asking why California has 3 teams.
Okay, I understand why California could, because California is a huge fucking mess, right? Like San Francisco is, 4 hours away from LA. I get it.
It's massive.
But like 2 fucking teams in LA
in the same arena.
I know. Like what the fuck? And that happens in New York too. Like what the fuck?
The Clippers are to LA that the Mercury are to Phoenix. They're like the undercard.
Yeah, it's wild they got this far.
They don't have a large fan base. You know what I'm saying? They don't, because everybody in LA are Lakers fans. They're not Clippers fans. That's not Clippers Nation. That's Lakers Nation out there. So, dude, why LA has 2 basketball teams is beside me, man. It'd be almost like us having the Phoenix Suns and the Phoenix Moons. It would just be stupid.
Yeah, it's weird. And I get it. Like they have like a shit ton of people in LA, but like I don't.
Now here's funny. Here's the interesting thing, production wise. So when the Lakers have a home game and they're playing the Clippers, because they do, it's just a change of the court. That's all they do. They just switch the courts out and they change a couple of the lighting arrangements. And then when it's the Clippers that have home court and they're playing against the Lakers, they switch the courts out and then they put up Clippers banners everywhere. And they cover up the Lakers stuff. You know what I mean?
But really, they both have the home court advantage.
But it's literally like they're both playing. I mean, I want to know.
Or like the Lakers would always have home court advantage, right? Because people going out to see that game are probably rooting for the Lakers.
They're going to be rooting for the Lakers. I want to know if they have to switch lockers. Like when the Clippers have the home court, it's considered a home team for them. Do the Lakers have to go to the guest lockers, and then the Clippers go into the main locker room? Or
that's a really good question.
Or do the Clippers have to be the redheaded stepchild and still use the guest bathroom downstairs? You know what I mean? That's what I want to know. I want to know how it works in the tunnel. Because in our arena, in the Phoenix Suns arena, the Suns have their locker rooms, the Mercury have their locker rooms, and the Rattlers have their locker rooms. Everybody has their own separate locker rooms, but we don't have two competing NBA.
Yeah.
What if it ever came down to the Western Conference Finals? Being the Lakers versus the Clippers, that would be the most boring. The production crew would quit. If I was on that production crew, I would fucking quit because you got to realize it takes 12 hours to flip these arenas sometimes.
It'd be kind of epic though.
It would be kind of epic. But the thing that I was looking for as we wrap this up, the one thing I was kind of hoping for is that the Suns would win the Western Conference Finals and go to the NBA World Championship Finals against the Brooklyn Nets. And the reason why I wanted them to play against the Brooklyn Nets is because of the Brooklyn Nets head coach is Steve Nash.
Yeah.
The headlines would have read Phoenix Suns versus Steve Nash. I wanted that so bad, but Brooklyn is out.
But like, is it okay for us Phoenix fans? Is it okay for us Phoenix fans to just like hate Steve Nash because he went to the Lakers?
Well, see, I
betrayed us.
You know what I would have? No, he didn't betray us. We just didn't handle him well. What I would have loved if it would have came down to the Brooklyn.
We had to play with fucking old man Shaq.
If it would have came down to Brooklyn and Phoenix, I was waiting for the shirt design to come out. Half Phoenix on one side and half Steve Nash on the other side.
Dude,
because we would have been torn. We would have been cheering for both teams.
Could you imagine if like halfway through the game, Steve Nash like ripped off his fucking suit and he's like wearing a fucking jersey and shit, and he's like, I'm going in.
A throwback Phoenix jersey? I would
and
die.
He's like, I'm playing.
If that happened,
I'm in.
If that happened, I would nut on myself and die. That's exactly what would happen if that moment ever took place.
Epic. Well, that's the end of the show. I appreciate you all listening. It's been fun. I'm so glad we're back. We're back in full swing, baby. We're here until the end of time. Make sure you check out the other shows, Loner Gamecast, every Monday live on twitch.tv/Lonercast at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, and it goes live everywhere else on Tuesday. This show goes live on Monday, every Monday. And also our MCU spoiler casts have been going out every Thursday. So make sure you check that out. Loki is a kick-ass show. See what we think. We go on like hella tangents about all sorts of weird shit on that show. Yeah, I like to call the spoiler cast Loner Cast After Dark because we really just kind of talk about whatever, and it's a good time. So make sure you check all that stuff out. Cory, it's been a pleasure. Make sure you check out Cory, Fat Guy Radio Show, all that fun stuff.
Or don't. 5, 6, 7, 8.
You should. I think you should check out Cory. Absolutely. He's a beautiful man, and so is DT. Doug, I'm questioning.